Ricky Bacon. Get out of Ricky's way here. Thank you. Ricky's a VP of Engineering at Noise. He has 16 years of experience developing award-winning products and platforms for startups, advertising agencies, and Fortune 500 companies. Most recently, GE Wonderground.
Hey, hi, my name is Ricky. As you just mentioned, I've been working in the industry for over 16 years. I work for a marketing and advertising company in New York City called Noise. We do a lot of what's next for various brands and companies and things that we want to work on. Most recently, we launched GE Wonderground, which I'll get into a little later. It's a mediated reality platform. I've been programming since around the age of 6. I still dabble in a lot of emerging technologies on the side, outside of work. And basically, a lot of what I do is lead development teams and figuring out how we use all this cool technology that's around us. So one of the first things I thought about speaking here is, how do I get an audience full of geeks to look at a baby picture? I mean, we're at a conference where Steve Mann is going to be talking about things like humanistic intelligence, and we've got Bruce Sterling, who back in 2005 came up with the idea of a spime, something that you can track over space and time. So there's a side project I've been working on called a human protospime, aka My Little Tweeter. It's what happens when you take an infant, an Arduino with a microphone, take some Bayesian classifier, naive classifier, process some audio data, send it to Twitter, and print it out on your desk at an Internet of Things printer. And you get this experience where now I can take what my infant son, who makes little sounds and gurgles and stuff like that, what mood is he in? And I don't get to see him during the day because, hey, you know, we work, but at any given time I get a little printout that's a tweet that says that, hey, he's hungry, he's happy, he's having fun, he's doing something. Which, not really augmented reality, but it's kind of a mediated reality experience where we are able to use technology to make a human connection just by the stuff that we have available to us off the shelf. It's kind of cool, kind of a good time to live in. So what I want to cover today is, how do we use technology to make different types of connections? The first thing I want to talk about is emotional connections. You know, what are the things that we can do to, how do we use these devices, computers, mobile phones, tablets, these sorts of things to make connections with other people? Also, how can we use technology to connect with the world around us? And finally, the idea of immersive connectivity, kind of a synthesis of emerging technologies and how we use those for persistent experiences in the real world. Emotional connections. So last year I was working for an advertising agency called JWT, and we came up with this platform called Band-Aid Magic Vision featuring Disney's The Muppets. It's a mouthful, the title. I blame the marketing people. Sorry if anybody's a marketer in the audience, but the idea behind it was really simple. It was, how can we use technology to take the pain away? How can we use it as a distraction for kids that hurt themselves? Band-Aid's a big brand, and they have all these co-branding opportunities they use. In this case, it's the Muppets. And kids really like Band-Aids. They like to put these things on them. They like to, you know, most of the time when kids get hurt, they're not really that hurt. They just want the attention. And just distracting them, that kind of takes the pain away. So we created an augmented reality platform that, here's a little video that shows some of the magic.
My mom was like, put 2 Band-Aids on it because I think that will help. And I was like, 2 Band-Aids, awesome. When I have it to make, I put a Band-Aid on my belly button. Can I have another one? Because it's magical. First, put on your Band-Aid brand Muppets bandage. Then scan your bandage with your iPhone or iPad.
Whoop! Hey-ho! Kermit the Frog here, feeling blue, not for long.
Then you're ready to start the show.
Why are
You can
there
even
so
swing
many
Kermit.
songs about rainbows?
My favorite Muppet is Miss Piggy because she's so girly. Miss Piggy wants you to take a picture.
No, I'm not feeling well. Well, I'll take care of that. It's time to take a picture of me.
Gonzo does a wacky stunt. He came out of the rocket and then he got stuck on the glass. I'm shaking Gonzo. Me. Can I try? Do you get that? No. My turn.
So that's Band-Aid Magic Vision featuring Disney's The Muppets. The interesting thing, couple things here. One, all of that video footage that you just saw was shot during user testing sessions. So we brought kids into the office with their parents, gave the app to them and said, hey, go wild, let's see this. The look of abject horror on the mothers' faces as they saw their kids running around slapping bandages all over them and they're running through the office, priceless. Didn't really expect that, nor did we really expect the brand manager's eyes to light up so much as he saw a little kid slapping Band-Aids on them and running around the office. Two different views of the exact same motion, but two different perspectives. The other thing that was really interesting, and this is something that applies to technology, especially emerging technologies specifically, is that traditionally in augmented reality, you get a marker, and that marker sets a point in 3D space. So you use your device to move around it. But one thing that children don't do, and a lot of adults don't do either, is they don't know to do that. They don't really know that they're supposed to keep it like this. So they see this like particle effects explode, and they see like Kermit jump out onto a swing, and then they go, whoop, and then Kermit disappears, and they're confused. So it turned out we had to adjust a lot of what we were doing because the user testing showed us that, hey, the kids really care about interacting with the characters. They're not going to focus on the Band-Aid anymore. They want to go and show this to their friends. They want to go take a picture with mom or have mom take a picture with them. So that sort of thing is really important to do when you're using these sorts of technologies because they're nascent. We don't have a lot of experience with them yet. And sometimes we got to take, the really cool, edgy stuff that we think is cool as geeks and make it approachable by the rest of the audience that we're really trying to hit. But this is an example of using a technology to make an emotional connection. How can we use technology? And in this case, okay, we use it as a distraction. We use it as a platform to get a mother to be able to more easily distract her kid when the kid gets hurt. Slap a Band-Aid on, hey, look, there's Kermit. Go watch Kermit, swing with Kermit. Go take some pictures of Miss Piggy with your friends. All of a sudden, the hurt's gone away. And next up, I want to talk about the world around us. So this is GE Wonderground. This was launched in March of this year. The Band-Aid Magic Vision is available in the App Store. This is also available in the App Store if you want to download it. There's also a website, gewonderground.com, if you want to go visit it. This is a transmedia storytelling platform that we launched earlier this year. It uses mediated reality to let people explore the world around them. For the web experience, you've got 5 different cities you can go to currently: New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Boston, and Chicago. Same with the mobile experience. The difference between the two being, if you're on the desktop, obviously you're not carrying your computer around to various locations, whereas on the mobile experience, it takes you to places like Central Park, or it takes you to NYU, or it takes you to the Golden Gate Bridge. And you actually have to go and unlock secrets about what the world is around you. I don't do nearly as a good job of explaining what all of this is conceptually as Jason Silva, so I'll let him take over this a little bit.
What's going on, friends? My name is Jason Silva. Now, we think we know the cities that we live in, and we certainly think that we have a feel for the character of famous cities. But every once in a while, we sort of accidentally step out of the familiar and we discover something new. And that's that sense of wonder. Welcome to GE Wonderground. See what others miss. With GE Wonderground on the web, you can extend your senses and explore cities thousands of miles away, and in the process, deepen your understanding of the connections between history, ideas, and technology. With your iPhone, you can search the city, find a mission, and uncover hidden knowledge. And here's the coolest part. You can actually go and create one yourself. So get out there, whether it's virtually or in the flesh, and discover.
So that's kind of a conceptual overview of what Wonderground was. It was a way for GE to show people that there's a lot of wonder around us in our everyday lives. There's a lot of things in the cities that we live in that we don't normally see. But it also provides a platform, and I was sunburned specifically because I was out this weekend going and doing stuff like this, which was, the first picture here is an image from the app of actually creating a clue that you can create for other people for a mission. The other one is when you detect the clue and unlock something. But this is a content creation platform of mediated reality as well as just a way to deliver media to people. It's kind of a two-way thing, and you can share these missions with your friends, you can share them with other people, you can share them with the public, as long as they're, we approve them, the correct type of content. But it's a storytelling platform, and this uses image recognition really simply and really succinctly to allow people to interact and discover things that go on every day. And we're even talking about in the future of using this as a campus recruiting platform. We're already on NYU. We're looking at a couple of the University of California campuses, telling the stories about the buildings that are there, the institutions that are there, who are the people behind them that the buildings are named after, and even using it as a tutorial tool for training people, on-the-job training. This type of mediated reality, while advertising, marketing, it's media, it provides a larger and better context for engaging people as a platform. Final thing, immersive connectivity. A lot of game screenshots here. Apologize. This is my background. Got to go for it. So in the beginning, there was Zork. Don't know, anybody remember Zork? Anybody ever play Zork? Okay, 1, 2 people. All right, text-only game. First game I remember where I lost myself. My imagination went wild. Limited vocabulary, couldn't do much, but all it was walls of text on the screen. Next up, Moria, a roguelike game where now there were rudimentary graphics where it was just little blocks that were little characters. But in my mind as a kid, 8, 9 years old, I'm looking at this and I'm fighting ogres and dragons and zombies and these mythical monsters and staying up until 4 a.m. and missing class at school and pretending I was sick. Fast forward and we've got Doom, which really, really, really bad graphics compared to what we have today. But it was, wow. It evolved into Quake, and now you're fighting against other people, and you've got teammates, and you're doing all of this over 28.8 modem connections. And then 2001, with really unfortunate timing, EA came out with a brilliant game, one of the earliest commercial alternate reality games, Majestic, where it was a game, their tagline, and it was quite appropriate, was a game that plays you. Mid-2000s, and we get a procedural graphics game that I don't know if anybody in here has actually seen, called Love, where the entire thing is generated by code. All the graphics. None of this is pre-built. It's all generated by on the fly. Minecraft, I think pretty much everybody at this point knows Minecraft, over $100 million in revenue last year. Really simple virtual building blocks. But now you've got people that are creating their own servers that are making Westeros or the Star Trek Enterprise and all sorts of cannons and simple physics simulations all the way up to, I think somebody actually made a 6805 processor that actually works, one of the really old processors from the 80s. Functional CPU inside of a game. So you could actually play games within a game. Down in the bottom row, laser tag AR, something that was recently released. You can take your iPhone and you can install this app and you can use your iPhone to augment a device that you used to play games with back in the 80s to go play laser tag. It not only augments the device, but it also augments the experience, so you can see the people around you in a different light, and you can do power-ups and all these other things. And finally, Ingress, which I assume everybody here knows, which is Google's alternate reality game, which it's a global scale. You can play with everybody around the world. It's a level of collaboration that I don't think we've seen up until now. So all of this stuff, these are immersive experiences going back from at least me, from my own mind back when I was 6, all the way up to now we've got these real world games where we can collaborate with people around the globe. Where does this all lead? I don't know. I don't. It's one of those things, if Bruce Sterling can't predict it, I sure as hell can't. But it's exciting. We've got the fundamental building blocks of memory, memristors. Those are revolutionizing the way that we interact with technology. We've got OLED screens that we can print, things that are flexible and see-through displays. We live in a world where we can track our daily diet, our exercise, who we interact with, when we do it. We can do this stuff indefinitely. We've got all this data that we can store. We've got a metacortex called the internet. We've got metamaterials that we can store 3D images on 2D displays, and graphene supercapacitors, which are going to make batteries obsolete. All this stuff that we have, yet we don't have this connection anymore to the real world. How many of you sit around and see people when you walk down the streets or you go into a restaurant looking at their screens? They're on their device like this. They're on their iPhone, on their iPad, whatever. What we need to use technology for is to actually tell stories, to engage people, to provide platforms where we can do this. We're living in the future right now. Let's make it awesome. Thank you. Sure.
Does anybody have any questions?
And I'm happy to answer technical questions. At RYOSHU, Ryoshu.
Do you have any figures on the Band-Aid promotion?
What the actual analytics, like? We never got the analytics from Johnson & Johnson as far as like the actual number of downloads. Engagement time was up around 7 minutes, I think. The reviews are 4.5 stars across the board with, I think there's over 100 reviews on the latest version. It's still in the App Store. There's no longer, the program got canceled, so there's no longer, it was agency stuff, so it was very successful. The brand manager was extremely happy with it. It was like brilliant, winning tons of awards. But you know, the numbers were good. I don't think they were great, because to make a blip on the volume of stuff that Band-Aid does, I mean, that would have to be a huge campaign, and honestly, we had no paid media going to it. It was all earned media for anything that we got for traffic.
Which kind of goes back to what you said about reviews. Some of us know.
Yeah.
I'm still looking for the looking for the guy in Australia who I saw. One of his quotes was, he might be here today. I don't know. He said it's like selling shovels to gold miners digging in a gold mine, but no one's found any gold.
Yeah, I mean, we use Qualcomm's Vuforia for this. It's engaging. Kids love it. Like anybody I've ever shown it to, like you can't pull the phones away from them. Like the kids just want to keep playing with it, but you know, you got to spend money to make money, I guess.
I was just curious, from a business perspective, the Band-Aid project that you did Johnson & Johnson give you any feedback as though, yeah, we'd like to do that again, or it was, okay, we stuck our toe in the water, it was kind of cool, but, you know, I didn't really generate enough results so that...
I think it took us 18 to 20 months from the initial idea to actually get sign-off so we could build it. The reception was exceptionally great. It was unfortunate timing in the advertising world because of the way that agency of record stuff was playing out. So there were some brand shifting amongst Johnson & Johnson, where if the brand manager that was on it had stayed on it instead of going to another brand and blah, 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 all this stuff and started baseball, we had plans to use other Band-Aids, like other co-branded Band-Aids, and we had a lot of really cool stuff that we were going to do, but it got cut off at the knees because of timing. The results they saw, like, you know, with no paid media going to it, were really good. With paid media, they would have been exceptional. I mean, that commercial, we could cut that to a 30-second spot. It would sell tons of Band-Aids.
Right. Do you think, just as a whole, you know, that model, building AR apps for brands to increase whatever they sell, is that, do you think, flash in the pan, this is new technology, or is this, you know, a viable business model for the next 5-7 years? I
don't know. I mean, it gets back to the whole thing where, get away from this. Like, this sucks. Like, doing this, nobody likes this. I don't like it. I mean, and you have to do it. you know, glass isn't really a platform that does it. Maybe telepathy will be. But we need to get to some place where we're just looking at the world around us and taking in extra information, or mediated reality where we eliminate some information and add more. As far as advertising goes, yeah, we're going to keep playing with it because nobody's really struck that gold yet. We've gotten close. We've gotten some really compelling experiences and told some really cool stories using it, but it's still kind of gimmicky.
Thanks.
Is the branded video that you showed available somewhere?
I don't, it was available for a limited time. It was for some award ceremonies. I don't know that it's available publicly anyplace though.
Anyone else?
I think I saw that clip on advertising page.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a couple versions of it floating around. That's a long form. There's some that are like 30 seconds, some that are 1 minute long. So you might be able to find some variation on it.
All right.
All right, thank you.